Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Do our best to always bring great episodes. This is episode 228, Oh My Gold. And really wanted to bring a quality episode before the people today, because so many people tune into the vault and they've talked about where to purchase gold. We're not financial advisors, don't need to be, but we definitely know what's one of the greatest precious assets out there, which is hard tangible gold. People talk about monatomic gold, things of that nature. So this is Oh My Gold. And we already know that this is God's money. This is the Most High's money. This is a it's a spiritual power when you get gold in your hands, and it's a conductor of. If you guys look at the shields on the front of NASA's astronauts, they actually have a film of gold over top of their helmets, because it is something that can handle high amounts of heat. When you even look at spaceships, when we talk about satellites that are going into space, you're literally talking about things that are covered with what they call gold plated, but just not gold plated. We're actually talking about things that are wrapped in gold film, and it's very real. So we definitely wanted to share an episode with you all today, 228 Oh My Gold, because this is going to talk to you all about one of the things that we just saw recently over this past weekend, which was Warren Buffett actually purchasing, divesting himself of some bank stocks and divesting himself into more of a stronger gold position. Now, this is someone that, if you all can study his track record, he has historically said he does not look at gold as a quality investment. But remember, great investors buy low, sell high. This is someone that Warren Buffett has been trading stocks and been in the investor market since he's been under 18 years old. So he's a 70-year-old plus, 60-year-old plus person that has been very successful, obviously ultra successful, and someone that says, okay, not only has he been successful, he has never had or has not publicly reported that he has a large gold holding. So let's get into why now. Why Warren Buffett? Why now? Why is he in gold? Because the precious metals are not just gaining value. People say, oh, gold's at $2,000. Ladies and gentlemen, it also hit the ceiling and it fell back down today. See, a lot of people think assets just keep going up in price. See, a senior investor has to be aware of where the pricing is at. See, some people think, oh, gold is really high right now. It's at an all-time high. It's at $2,000. Yep. Gold's at an all-time high for $2,000, but one of the greatest investors that teaches and lives off the principle of buy low, sell high has actually entered the market at that position. They didn't enter the position at 300. They didn't enter the position at 1,000. He didn't enter the position at 1,500, where it sat for the past 7 years. 14, 1,200, 14, 1,200, 13. It blew past 1,500, and now, and people are, oh, gold's expensive because it went $500 incrementally. See, people don't look at the percentages. How much did silver go up? Silver's almost double. Silver went down to almost $12 to $15 this year. And where is it at right now? It's right back up at 26, 27 spot price. Now, we can talk about these assets being manipulated. No doubt about it. But we're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about is how a market mover, Warren Buffett, has said he's purchasing in the asset. Not only is he purchasing the asset, when would he purchase in an asset? He purchases in the asset when it's low, not when it's high. This is one of the best investors of our lifetime. This is somebody that can see a deal before the deal even comes to be pitched at him. That's how good he is. We have to give credit where credit is due. He has a certain level of assets under management, which are under his and Charlie Munger's control, and whoever else privately that sits on the board over at Berkshire Hathaway. So what did he do? He took a position. He took a position for the long term because he's a long term investor. Why would he buy low? Why would he buy high? Why would he buy high, ladies and gentlemen? How can you say the market is expensive when he bought low? He buys low, sells high. How can you say it's expensive when he bought it low? Oh, well, he bought it low for himself. No, he's focused on the analytics and the technicals. So for all you all, just want to make this announcement while we remember. We're doing a workshop with Cornell, the trader, a webinar this Sunday. Don't know the time, but you all can feel free to reach out. Christian at Trust Christian is usually an all-day event from pretty much later on midday, afternoonish, to actually later in the evening. Now, some people say, oh, I've been meaning to get in that class. I've been meaning to do that. So you've been meaning to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Cornell the Trader teaches children on Sundays. So not only is he going to teach the kids, which he's been doing for weeks now, he's actually going to work with the adults again. And this is going to be the last workshop he does with adults for the rest of the year. Because this isn't we don't do this for the money. When you're in the private sector, everything's not about money. When you're in the private sector, you don't do everything for money. Some people would like to believe that because it's a focal point, but it's more about the value. See, you don't understand, when you're building a hedge fund, where do you go to recruit people? To colleges, to kids. So he's literally training people that are more open-minded than the adults to learn how to trade and how to do it successfully. We've known this man for over 5 years and has never had a job, ever. Has had businesses, has been an investor, has never worked a job for the boss man. No boss man conversation. It's been free man conversation. Free man. We talk about taking naps because you're rich. So, oh my GOlD. People say, oh, GOLD's high right now. It's at $2,000. You see these guys, everybody's watching the news. The last thing you're supposed to watch. Remember watching and coming up with Cornell, he said, man, that's not what I watch. I don't watch the news. That's what Cornell say all the time. I don't watch the news. So if he doesn't watch the news, why all the rest of you all watch the news? We took that information very seriously. Why? Because the news is a propaganda mechanism. It's literally to announce something that's days late, but people are still watching it. They're not getting it from the right sources. It's days late. Did you all know that Citibank just got the biggest breach and data hack of our time? No, most people didn't, because they're more focused on COVID-19 and the markets opening up. They're more focused on the virus that's killing people, that like it's the only virus in the world killing people right now at an exponential rate. But then you go and you look in your feed, and when you start talking about viruses over your cell phone, guess what? Other viruses start popping up because Google is tapping into your speech. Oh no, that is true. Yeah, Apple's doing it too. Guess what? It's called programming, ladies and gentlemen. Don't they have programmers? Oh my GOLD. There is so much gold that's being bought right now. Because people what? They're avoiding the panic. Supposedly gold was a safe haven. Supposedly silver was a safe haven. We saw an asset literally lose half its value, and it's back up to its full value. Gold's at an all-time high. What about silver? Peace to Atlanta. Feel free to type into the chat wherever you're tuning in live, or well, you're not going to be listening to replay, type it into the chat, but feel free to even type into the chat, the comment section in the replay. It's always a blessing. We always appreciate, because we do workshops based off where trustees are, and we've had a great amount of trustee workshops all over the country. So appreciate you all for tuning in live. Oh my GOLD. You got into trustee training. You heard trusteeship. Think about it. You went to public school. Did they teach you about trusteeship in public school? Oh my GOLD. It was the golden ticket. But did you really invest right away, or did you sit around like public school and you try to cheat like you could get the answers in public school, where you can sleep and still get a passing grade? Because that's what people do in public school. You can cheat. Well, guess what? This is private school. It's assets under management. It's about your balance sheet. How many assets do you have under management? Is gold an asset? Yes. Assets under management. How can you say an asset is too expensive to have? It's too expensive not to have a precious metal. How many of you all have been acquiring precious metals with your PPP check? Oh my gold. It's an expensive asset right now. Everyone in the news is saying it's expensive. But Warren Buffett says, buy low, sell high. What are you doing? You think it's high because the news told you that. This is a man that moved millions and millions of dollars over into an asset that never went back to zero yet. Let's go ahead and bust down some of these public companies that are going public right now. Airbnb is getting they literally trying to launch a private IPO, which is staggering knowing the times that they're in right now. Why would you try to launch your IPO? Because they waited for so long, because their website was free. It's freemium. You don't make money when you start doing things for free. You have to charge. They took money off the top. Airbnb, hopefully they come back with a vengeance. But they're going IPO now. Let's see who else is sitting there trying to go IPO and literally they're gonna get caught up on FINRA charges. They're gonna get caught up on being financial and financial advisors. Think about what just happened with the Kodak stock. The Kodak stock had, who do you think lost money? Hedge funds that they're selling the information to? Who do you think lost money in the Robinhood situation recently with Kodak? All the retail investors that joined the party minutes and hours later into the investment. Because all they did was sell the information, your free information from Robinhood. They sold it over to the banks and the hedge funds that are literally putting positions against you. They have billions and trillions of dollars. Of course they can squeeze you out of a position. What is the value of Kodak? Oh no. Do you know the value of Kodak? Right. It's the same thing with gold. Do you know the value of gold? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go in today and share with you the greatest of all the precious metals, which is silver. People still think silver is a crybaby metal. Oh man, silver was at $20, $21, $17 for like 5 to 7 years. And now it went up to 27 and people are belly aching. It's not even at its high. Go look at the silver chart. Is it at its high? Silver was at 40 something dollars at its peak within the past 10 years. Gold is at its peak supposedly. And people are belly aching about gold when they have the greatest opportunity to acquire one of the greatest precious metals, the precious metal that you literally use in medical equipment. Gold and silver is in your cell phone. They're not mining any gold. There's no gold. There's no river of gold flowing. It's a base metal. You have to find it with other metals. You don't just get a gold mine like people think you to believe. This is what we're dealing with in the private sector. We have to be educated, not to be bullied out of a position. People were bullied out of positions with the Kodak. People are bullied out of this position for holding a hard, tangible asset that you can collateralize to go out and do business in the world. Oh, they didn't tell you that in public school. What did they tell you to get? Jordans. They want to talk to you about a college degree. This is what we heard from our mentors when we were coming up. Man, my college degree ain't even worth a cup of coffee at Starbucks. If I try to give them a degree that I got from a college, I can't even get a cup of coffee. That's how worthless that piece of paper is. You have to make it valuable. Guess what gold and silver is? Gold and silver is valuable because it can save your life. Don't they have monatomic gold? Don't they have silver in products? Medical equipment? It's an industrial metal. Oh my gold. People say, oh, well, the gold It has no value. We've heard these doofuses say this for years. Financial advisors still sit in front of us and say this. Oh man, why would you get gold? It's not that valuable. Sure, these are for the idiots that are walking around when the greatest investor of our time, one of them, he's not the greatest, he's one of the greatest investors of our all time, Warren Buffett, literally has invested into it. And he has said publicly that he won't invest in. Guess what else he said he wouldn't invest in? Crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, we never said crypto wasn't a bad investment. We said that it won't replace the dollar. Did gold replace the dollar? They used to give out gold certificates. They're dollars now. But gold still exists. Don't they denominate back down into the truest God money, which is gold anyways, and silver anyways? Don't they denominate their fiat currency back into the gold? Don't they denominate it back into silver? Don't they denominate it back into platinum, palladium, and rhodium? Don't they denominate it back into hard, tangible assets? Yes. But the fiat, the fiat not going to be around. The fiat system going to fail. You guys don't have a clue what is going to fail. Paper will not fail because it's easy to print. How many of you all are lugging around 5 and 10 and 30 ounces of gold? How many of you all are lugging around 5 and 10 and 20 ounces of silver? It's heavy. They created a cross-collateralized piece of paper. That's it. Is it legal? Why not? They announced that, hey, if you give us gold, we'll give you cash. They did that in the 30s. There was a gold and silver confiscation act. Now we're back in the age where you can actually denominate out of paper and get back into gold and silver unknowingly to the general population. Oh my gold. Is gold overpriced? Well, silver's not. It's not even back at its all-time high. It's still less than 30. There's a major upside and potential on it. But let's go back over to gold that's at its all-time high, and people still think that it's low. People think that it's high, but Warren Buffett buys low, sells high. Every great investor knows you buy low, sell high. Whoa. So silver, is it really low or is it high? Because it's not even at its high. But gold is at its high. See, you don't need a financial advisor to have good financial acumen. After you've lost your shirt or missed opportunities, you grow your financial acumen. You don't need to read it in a book that's 300 pages for $19 or $50. You grow your financial acumen by taking risk. You're not a real investor if you're not taking risk. That's where we are today in the marketplace. Oh my gold. Gold's not an investment, it's a savings. That's what we were taught on the private side. We don't ever sell this for generations. It's generational wealth. Gold and silver. But let the insurance guys tell you, let the financial advisors tell you, oh no, what are you gonna buy that gold for? What can you do with it? All you got is sitting around. But what happened to cross collateralizing it? What happened to collateralizing it? What happened to creating to having it as collateral, as an asset, on the books, as an asset? Oh no, my house is that. But you own a mortgage, and guess what? Now you can get your house foreclosed on at any time. Can you get foreclosed on a hard, tangible asset that's truly in your possession, such as gold and silver? That's how it looks on the books. It's an asset. Where's your house at? It's a liability. We asked trustees one day on the phone, we said, so do you pay taxes on a loan? How do you pay taxes on a loan? No, you don't pay taxes on a loan. They thought about the interest. Well, we can write off the interest, but do you pay taxes on the loan from the bank for your property that you think you own? No, you don't. What about property tax? That has nothing to do with that mortgage. You could pay off the mortgage, and if you don't pay property tax, watch what happens to the property. These are the things you learn in Trustee Training. It's called financial acumen. Christian@trustchristian.com. You can feel free to reach out. We have the webinar coming up with Cornell about the trading this weekend on Sunday. It's worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, he opened up our eyes. You have to become self-sufficient for your family, not depending on some PPP. See, you're dependent on it. Because if you weren't dependent on it, you wouldn't even apply. We tell people we're too lazy to apply for government handouts. Too lazy to apply for them. Oh man, it only it's less than 3 minutes to fill out this form. Those are 3 minutes of time that aren't worth our time. To have people dependent on a group of people that what? You think politicians are asking for PPP? You think politicians are broke? You got another thing coming. Politicians aren't broke. But they're taking money from me and giving it back to me. That's my money. Ain't that what they said? People said, the common man said. Oh my gold. Gold is low, but people think it's high. And what are they doing right now when it's high? Are they selling it? Are they selling it? Because if they were selling it, it would be going down in value. That's what happens when you sell it. When you have a demand for it, it goes up in value because there's less quantities of it. See, this is not just contrarian thinking. This is almost common sense, but to public school people, it's not common. It's just something that doesn't make sense. How can it go up in value when there's a demand for it? Because there's less quantities of it. They can't produce it fast enough. Oh, okay. Right. They're trying to mine precious metals like crazy right now. Why? Because people are dying. And haven't they always been dying? Of course. But when the emotion, which is called market sentiment, there's more fear in the market now than there ever has been. That's why people are walking around with a mask. You're walking around with a mask because you're afraid of life. You're afraid to live. Now, if you go into a business establishment because they say you got to have a mask on, so be it. We're not knocking the mask wearers that are wearing a mask because you're wearing a mask to make sure that, hey, you can get your groceries or you can get some stuff out the store and keep it moving. But we're talking about the ones walking down the street with a mask on. We're talking about the ones that are literally walking around with a mask on. They weren't doing that a year ago. Haven't done any research, just like they haven't done any financial research on the marketplace. See, the marketplace pays off a sentiment. Have you ever heard of market sentiment? Greetings from SoCal. Greetings in SoCal. We got SoCal. We also got New York tuning in live. Appreciate you, New York and SoCal and Atlanta. It's interesting. Someone actually just typed into the chat, do you know that Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are actually out of USD? Which is quite interesting because this has been known in the public for years. You guys can Google that. Appreciate someone typing that into the chat. So when someone wants to come on the internet and tell you out of fear that they're not in crypto, now you see why. They didn't create enough of demand, which is fear, so they can sell out of the position when it's high. Oh, you forgot about that? That they buy low and sell high? It's not high. That's why he's buying. It's not high. It's low. What are you doing? Can you rub two nickels together and go get some silver right now for your family and put yourself in a position where you have hard, tangible assets? We had so many great mentors in the precious metals. We had classes. We know that there's a gold to silver ratio. Do you know about that? We actually invested in our private education to learn about the gold and silver ratio. Did you? You think you could just buy one arbitrarily whenever you feel like it? These are assets, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I don't know about gold. I don't know if gold and silver are going to stand the test of time. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that gold and silver has stood the test of time. Precious metals has stood the test of time. Has your family stood the test of time, or is your family about to get wiped out because you don't hold any assets to literally provide food and shelter for your family for the next generation? Because you're all in fiat. Because you're all in a thing that you think is going to go down. Oh man, the dollar sucks. The dollar's not going to hold its value. The dollar's losing value every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, the dollar has become the strongest currency and is still the strongest currency in the world. When things are denominated out, they're denominated in dollars. The Chinese don't even want people touching their currency. The yuan is more manipulated almost than the dollar. At least the United States took their dollars and said we're going to buy into countries through military defense and digging up natural resources. What has China done? They don't even release their financial records to the world. And you all think this is the next best player? You all want to be invested in some people that want to hide their numbers? What are they hiding their numbers for? You think that China doesn't have an investment from the International Monetary Fund? You're lying to yourselves. China has sold out to the International Monetary Fund just like the United States sold out to the International Monetary Fund. Who hasn't sold out to the International Monetary Fund? But you want to knock the dollar. You should be thankful that the dollar is one of the highest reserve currencies in the world. They're not playing around in the United States. They got people like Donald Trump that want to keep the money at an all-time high. What's so sad is most of the people in the market, they're going to get wiped out because they don't even believe in the currency that they're exchanging on a daily basis. People are dying for that currency right now. While everyone else in the States is crying about it. It's losing value. How's it losing value? Where do you think people are saving their money right now in the world? They're saving it in gold. They're saving it in silver. They're saving it in dollars. Oh, you didn't know that because you didn't know where to get the financial information, huh? You're going to trust CNN. You're going to trust Jim Cramer. You're trusting loud personalities over the internet to tell you, sell gold, sell gold, sell gold. That's what they're telling you. Oh, yeah? How much are you getting paid to be on the news, Jim Cramer? How much are you getting paid? You're a journalist, aren't you? See, a real investor, they're not on TV. Did you want to hear that again? A real investor's not on TV. What real investor, what active real investor is on TV right now? And we're talking about the ones that's in stocks. You want to know why they can't come on TV? Because they have literally SEC and FINRA regulations that say they can't tell you what they're investing in. So how does Warren Buffett's information come out? It comes out through the press releases through Berkshire Hathaway. Do you hear a press release come from Jim Cramer? No, he's touting the latest BS. And people are buying and selling it. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually just talked to some people that are connected with the CEO or vice presidents, people that sit on the board for Uber and Lyft. Right now, they're thinking about stopping all operations in literally over there in California. Uber and Lyft. Did you all know that? That Uber and Lyft is literally possibly going to shut down operations for a period of time because of what? Because of the regulations. You want to know what we told our partners earlier? It's because they took some of that PPP money possibly. We know people that literally they don't even work for Uber. They don't even work for Lyft. And they talking about they receive money based off of the fact that they were contracted with Uber and Lyft. Oops. They just went broke. Remember, they went IPO. But they were struggling. They've been struggling. Uber and Lyft have been struggling. Why? Their market has just been cut in half. How many people are driving to work right now through Uber and Lyft? Their markets have been cut. What did Uber do? See, Uber's smart. They diversified. Now they got people delivering the food. Uber Eats. Uber deliveries. This is how easy it is to get away from the hard tangible assets, because the paper assets rule the day, because everybody's chasing paper. They're on the paper chase, as they call it. They're chasing paper. But what about the gold? Should you be buying gold in a paper form? What kind of nonsense is that when you can literally hold the hard tangible asset and create a derivative yourself? But oh no, the Moors don't want to say that over the internet. All these doofuses over the internet, they don't want to say that. They don't want to say that you can create and have a securities exchange agent create a security for your family's gold and silver through your family trust and family estate. They don't want to say that. Did they say it to you yet? But you heard it from Trust Christian in the Vault. Because we sit in a room where people rent out their gold. People rent out their silver. Guess where? To governments. You want us to say it again? They rent out gold and silver to governments. Think about it. When the government supposedly mints it, do they hold it or sell it? They sell it. They don't hold it. Oh no. I didn't know all of that, Trust Christian. Now you know. Someone said China's being involved in fake gold scandals. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no respect for that country. And whether you know it all or not, just because you're getting your cheap products, name one quality thing that comes from China right now. Oh, he said it. I can't believe he just said China's creating knockoffs and bootlegs. What is China creating that's American standard, American grade? They're eating cloned food in their country profusely. And what happened to the United States? They follow right suit with genetically modified food. That's not even allowed in every country in the world. It's genetically modified food. Are you aware that they have created homogenized food? That means homogenized. H-O-M-O. You want us to say it louder and clearer? H-O-M-O. Homogenized food. They're homogenizing the genes to the food. How can you eat a fruit that doesn't have any seeds in it? This is the era that we're living in. Homogenized food. Who's the biggest fan of that? China. Oh, really? Yes. And the States, because these companies have went over to China and created stuff over there, and the fake stuff, when they come back to the States, well, hey, we're going to pass bills and get the lobbyists to allow us to create fake food in the country. Allow us to sell fake food. How is it legal to sell plastic to people? Oh, really? That's the era that we're living in? People are selling plastic and silly putty to people and food? Wow. The episode could have been called Fool's Gold, but it's not. It's Oh My Gold. Because you're supposed to buy low, sell high. How is gold at an all-time high when the greatest investor, one of them, is buying right now? You think he's the only one? He's called a market maker. See, he's the only one that came out in the public and said he was buying it. But guess what? You got some of the old classic Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. You all have read that book. The audience at our audience, they're sophisticated. They've listened to what we talk about. You've already read that you were supposed to buy gold. But gold only went up $500. What about silver? Silver went up almost what? What's the percentage, ladies and gentlemen? Are you counting dollars or are you counting percentages? Go back and do your financial research. That's why the trading class this weekend is so critical. Why? Because you're going to get a financial education that no one can take from you. You got to invest in your private family education. Is gold a private family education? Why not? Why not? How is gold not that? We're seeing cryptocurrencies be backed by hard tangible assets. Communities are backing cryptocurrencies right now with hard tangible land. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We'll go ahead and drop it first for you over here on the vault. Did you all know that the United States has moved in a position where they're creating a hard tangible asset called the crypto dollar? And the Federal Reserve banks are in position for it right now? The crypto dollar. We saw with the banks when they were dealing with Ripple, trying to improve their SWIFT transactions. But now the United States has moved in a position where, hey, they almost told the banks it was illegal for them to even allow you to trade in and out of a Bitcoin or whatever it is, not just Bitcoin, whatever coin it is, into what? Into money, their money, fiat money. Well, now they've moved into a position. Don't worry about it. Trade into the dollars, but we have a crypto dollar for you too. This is interesting. And we don't want to see, we appreciate whoever's tuning in live. listen to replay, feel free to type into the chat where you're tuning in live or listening to replay. But we sat around these moors for years. We haven't seen any of them carry gold and silver, carry rhodium, carry platinum, carry palladium. See, people think wearing gold around their neck is holding gold now. They're wearing VVS's on their neck, the diamonds on their neck. See, in the circles that we're in, you don't wear your wealth on your back. That's the first sign of a fool's gold. That's the first sign of a fool's gold. Is wearing it on your back. You're supposed to have it hidden in your pocket, just like the Jews do. When a tax collector came, they would hide it in their clothes. Is the tax collector going to pat you down? No. So they hide it in their clothes. Where are we at nowadays? Oh, my gold. Gold is not an investment, it's a savings. That's what we were taught in the private. It can never be that. You don't sell out of a position that's called precious. Why do you think it's called a precious metal? Because there's limited quantities on this plane of existence. There's not a stream, a river flowing of the land of gold and silver. It's found in depositories. Once you dig it up, how long does it take for it to be replenished? You think it's going to be replenished in 1 generation, 2 generation, 3 generation, 4 generation? No. It's a precious metal. That's why they call it precious, because there's limited amounts of quantities of it. And you're questioning whether you should buy it low, whether you should buy it. See, the precious metals market is for sophisticated investors, because we're not getting it to own it. We're getting it to control it. This is where you sell gold and silver, you rent it out and you lease it to governments, to private investors to create cross-collateralization. This is what the fool's gold don't tell you over the internet. Kramer and the rest of the puppets. See, when you stand in a position of power, when you actually hold the hard tangible asset, no one can buy you out of it, because you'll never sell out of it at a position lower than what you bought it. Never. You understand the value. It's something that can save lives. But oh no. It's limited amounts of quantities, and supposedly it's at an all-time high. We're living in the all-time highs. That doesn't mean that this is at an all-time high. It's just another moment in history where we actually saw it do a dip today, where it went up to 2100, 2100, and fell back down to 1900, because it's already hit a ceiling over there for gold. You didn't hear it though, did you? It already hit a ceiling. And you question whether you should get it. It hit a ceiling for a second, just like oil did. Did you all forget about a thing called inflation right now? They gave out so much free money. They have been, for all of you all to know about the fiat and them drowning the marketplace with fiat currency. There was fiat currency that was just drowned into the market. Do you not think the cost of goods is going to go up? Why do you think gold is going up? The cost of goods is going up. One of the most original forms of money has just gone up, because the demand has for money, real money, it's gone up. It's gone up. Inflation is not something you all can see. It's not a natural tax that you all can see. But you all are going to find out what it looks like. It's already kicking in. We got people talking about, oh, there's food shortages. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that live in states that are things called food deserts. It's already a drought. But did you stock up on hard tangible assets such as gold, silver, water, canned foods? Oh no, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, man. I don't want to be the crazy one where I'm saving all my money right now and I can't go out and buy Jordans. I can't get my hair and my nails done right now because I'm not self-sufficient. I can't make my own shoes, so I have to go get the Jordans. Oh, no, no, no. We have to get designer right now. We have to get designer. Who owns gold? Who owns these assets? You can own something that you didn't create. It's universal money. That's why it's so expensive for you right now, because you left the universal principles of what God's money is. Think about how much they're valuing God's money right now, and you're saying it's expensive. You should have been got your hands on it. It's God's money. But what happened? Oh, it's so expensive to have such a thing that I don't even know what it's good for. I don't even know how I can make money off of it. Gets the learning. Because guess what? It didn't go down in value. It went up. So your ignorance is costing you. It's called opportunity cost loss. You lost time in getting the asset. And now it costs more to have the asset. But Warren Buffett said, I'm going to buy low, sell high. So obviously education is not that costly right now because it's at a low price for Warren. What about you? This is the education that you have to pay for and not be buying designer right now. Buying fanny packs. Not being self-sufficient. How is gold and silver going to make me self-sufficient? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a conductor of electricity. Start learning the uses of industrial metals. It's nobody's fault that you went to public school. And it's nobody's position to bring you up out the dirt or the mud. We all had to get it from there if you're first generation wealth. It's first generation wealth time. You got to build it. Appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live. What is gold backed by? If the dollar used to be backed by gold, what is gold backed by? You want to know what gold is backed by? Your labor. But you've been cheated out of your estate. So you don't know that when you trade your labor, you're supposed to be getting gold and silver. So let's give it to you once again how our mentors gave it to us in the educational classes. So what is gold? Gold is the wage of a king and a queen. Now we see why you have it or why you don't. Silver is the wage of a lady and a gentleman. Now we see why you have it or you don't. Do you even have manners for yourself? You're supposed to have silverware when people come to your house to eat, right? Oh, did you forget about that old principle? You're supposed to have silverware because it purifies the food. It purifies it. You didn't know that it had that type of use and value? So what do slaves get? Slaves get debt. That's what slaves get. They get fiat. Kings and queens get gold. Ladies and gentlemen get silver. Slaves get debt. They're paid in slave notes. The notes that no one wants to have faith in. Oh, really? That's where we are. Oh, my gold. Should be walking around with a piece of gold in your pocket every day because you're supposed to be a king and a queen walking around. Now we see why you are or are not. And if it takes a minute or it takes a while to work to get to that point, so be it, king or queen, but you earned your crown. Or are you a slave? Accepting notes. You could wipe your butt with it. You could burn it. And it still was going to turn into what it was from the beginning. Zero. What about that gold? What about that silver? It maintains its value. This is what we were taught in our classes for trusteeship. And people are still wondering, should they get in trusteeship? This is what you learn in trusteeship. The floor is yours in trusteeship. Ask away. It's about you protecting your family assets. Something that you control right now. Just like people think they control real estate. And then, once they get to the next generation, they're giving their family property in a damn will. So it can go through probate and go through taxes. Or you're giving it to them directly. And you're giving it to them with an inheritance tax. Some people don't even want to take over their family property because they notice a thing called inheritance tax. They don't even want that problem. So how did you pass along an asset if somebody is not trying to take on a problem, a liability? What about gold? That's passed along privately though. What do you mean? Isn't the real estate public? Yeah. The gold and silver is not. It's private money. And this is where we are today. This is where we are. We appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to email us, christian@trustchristian.com. Been doing a bunch of classes, a bunch of episodes. We are definitely going to improve our processes over at the vault. Right now there is a spiritual warfare going on. And gold is one of those things that's under spiritual attack. How? People are telling you it's high. When it's high, what are you supposed to do? Sell it. Or what are you supposed to do when it's high? Get more of it. Because it's more valuable now. That means there's a greater demand. And because there's a greater demand, that means it's less in circulation. Did you hear that? It's less in circulation. So of course you're supposed to continue to acquire it. But hey, some people want financial advice, right? This is not financial advice. This is the reality of gold and silver. Hard, tangible, precious metal assets that people literally question whether they should go get before they go get designer. Before they even go get a house. You can always use God's money. Real estate, the value is not the same as a gold or a piece of silver. You don't hear Warren Buffett buying real estate in the public, do you? Even though Berkshire Hathaway has a real estate arm. And more on the sales side. What do you hear him buying in this past weekend? Hard, tangible assets such as gold. That's where we are today in 2020. One of the greatest investors of our time has bought gold. What are you going to do? Are you going to start saving? Or are you going to just start letting wealth pass you by? Because your labor is supposed to be given gold or silver. So ladies and gentlemen, we linked up with a gold company. You all can feel free to reach out, christian@trustchristian.com. We actually are really happy that we linked up with the gold company. You can get it in smaller denominations. For such a long time, we wanted to make sure people got ounces when people came through the vault and they would talk about gold and silver. But ladies and gentlemen, the cell phones that you may be listening to the podcast on YouTube has gold and silver in it. You all can check out the device that Apple created that extracts the gold. These companies, these big corporations, they're extracting gold and silver, a gram, out of your phone. Guess what a gram of gold is going for over the internet? It's going for $70+ a gram of gold, ladies and gentlemen. A gram, not an ounce. The one is $2,000 a gram. And it's in your cell phone and you're going to give it back. So guess what? Apple and the rest of these companies are going to steal your wealth right from under your nose because you don't have financial acumen, because you didn't invest in your private education. And the vault is telling you that's what you got to do. Oh man, but my best friend's uncle, he works over at the financial company. Is he talking the way that we're talking? Or is he telling you, oh, it's at an all-time high? We know that. But what about silver? They're not talking about his cousin. The one that's used more than gold. Silver's used more than gold, and it's not even at its high yet. And ladies and gentlemen, if you all are not aware of what's about to happen in the market is going to go for a run. Whether it's a bull or a bear, you better get ready. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. The market is getting ready to go for a run. A bull or a bear. What is gold going into right now? Clearly it dropped today. What is silver in still? It's not even at its all-time high. You think it's in a bear or it's in a bull? That's why we brought Cornell to the platform. Because he understood this. He aided in us becoming more independently wealthy. That's what you're supposed to be when you have gold and silver, not fiat notes. Appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. You can get on the webinar. Feel free to reach out to Christian at trustchristian.com. We'll put you in contact with the micro gold selling company that we trust. We really don't have too many trusted advisors. It's almost like one of those things, well, do you get your gold in the country or do you get it outside the country? All of these things matter. Are you getting them from online or are you getting them from offline? That's what we're talking about nowadays. So, Christian at Trust Christian, feel free to reach out. This isn't a sales pitch. Why do we need to sell you on a precious asset? Because Jim Cramer and the rest of these guys are selling you on Uber and Lyft, a company that's literally about to shut down in the state of California because they're getting hit with trying to make their contractors employees and the taxes that are involved. They're not trying to pay taxes. That's why they're willing to shut down their companies in those states. Get real, ladies and gentlemen, like the gold and silver is. Because the paper, tangible things, you could burn those things. Christian at Trust Christian, look forward to hearing from you about that savings program for you all to really get into a quality savings program. Because that's all we do. We deal with it on that level. There's no need to sell it. You can still save it, hold it, and actually lend it out. And not really lend it out, but lend it out on paper. It's the security. But oh no. Did they teach you guys that, the Moors? Did they teach you guys that the whoever's out here typing into the chat, whoever's out here, trying to get rich quick? You got to study this information and you got to know it for yourself. Ain't no sheik or anybody going to tell you that information. Why? Because they want you to give it over to the temple. The hard tangible assets are what holds it together. Christian at trustchristian.com for the webinar this weekend. Look forward to hearing from you all. Talk to you all soon.